Hello and welcome to the course of Network Security. In this lecture, we are going to learn about different types of malicious softwares, which is also known as malware. You will learn about viruses, worms, botnet, ransomware, Trojan Horse, Spyware, Adware, Scareware, Backdoor, logic bomb, and plenty of other types of malicious softwares. Well, before going to explore these different types of malwares, it is important to remember that in the world of security, we can actually divide the security threats into two broader categories, and they are intruders and malicious software. Intruders are actually people who are nosing around places where they have no business. They are also sometimes called adversaries. Like the hackers, different types of hackers, crackers, they are important classes of intruders, and their objective is to gain access to a system or a system resources, or maybe to increase the range of privileges accessible on a system. Previously, the hacking and cracking stuff, they were only for getting fame or to show your friends, for example, how clever you are. But now they have different motivations, like ranging from information theft, vandalism, terrorism, cybercrime, spam, fraud, or maybe to explore the poor security of a software, of a tool, or even of an organization. And there may be different professionals. They are working in different environments. For example, maybe they are working for government agencies, maybe for police, for military, or for other secret agencies, or maybe they are doing such stuff because they love to do it. Like this is the hobby of many of the intruders. But the focus of today's lecture is not to discuss the intruders, but to discuss the different types of malwares. So first we are going to explore computer virus. Actually, different types of malicious softwares are available. They are also known as malicious code, malware, or rogue programs. And I'm sure you have been affected by a malware at any time of your life, either because your computer was infected or because you could not access an infected system while its administrators were cleaning up the mess caused by the infection, and they informed you that the system you are trying to access has been infected by a virus or by some other type of malicious software. The most sophisticated types of threats to a computer system are presented by programs rather than by the intruders, and such threats are referred to as malicious software, and one of them is known as computer virus. By definition, a computer virus is actually a program that self-replicate itself. It acts like a biological virus. It infects other healthy subjects, healthy computers, healthy program by attaching itself to the program. So you can say in the basic terminology, a virus is a program that can replicate itself and pass on malicious code to other non-malicious or healthy programs by modifying them. So virus is capable of copying itself and spreading to other computers. They often spread to other computers by attaching themselves to various programs and then executing code when a user launches one of these infected programs. They can also spread when the user download viral programs from the internet or when the user exchange infected disk, USBs or flash drives with one another. And they are not the only reasons, they can also be transformed by using Microsoft Office files like MS Word, documents, etc. The computer virus can either be transient virus or it can be resident virus. The first category of the virus has a lifespan that depend on the life of its host. That is, the virus runs when the program to which it is attached executes, and then it terminates when the attached program ends. And during its execution, the transit virus may spread its infection to other programs as well. So as long as the program to which it is attached is executing, the chances of the spread of the virus are there, or the infection of the virus is there. Once the program is terminated, then the virus is not more active. While on the other side, the second category of virus, which is known as resident virus, is a type of virus that locates itself in memory. It can then remain active, or it can be activated as a standalone program even after its attached program ends. So it is more dangerous as compared to the first category. There are different types of viruses available. If you have a look on the history, then the history is full of viruses attacks. And it is believed that the very first computer virus is known as the brain computer virus, and it was developed in 1984-85, and it is considered to be the first virus, although some authors claim that it is the second computer virus, and the first computer virus that was discovered is known as Cloner, which was discovered in 1982, and it targets Apple II computers. But for us, the important thing is that for us, the pioneer virus that was discovered is known as the brain virus, and it was discovered in 1985, and it attacked PCs running Microsoft DOS operating system at that time. And this virus was written by two brothers, Basit Farooq Alvi and Amjad Farooq Alvi, and they were from Lahore, Pakistan. And the major effect of this fairly harmless virus is a change of the disk label, like the name of the disk. This virus was able to change the name of the disk to brain, and it was like a harmless virus, but still it is considered to be the pioneer virus in the computer history. And then we also have some other types of viruses which are mentioned here, like Melissa, Jerusalem, Archive, Zeus, a very important one, and other like Sobig virus, Rombertic virus, which was discovered in 2015, and plenty of other. The effect of the viruses is different, like the categorization of the viruses. For example, some viruses are able to infect the boot sector files, and they are known as boot sector infector, while the other files are able to affect the files, and they are known as file infectors. And then we have the macro viruses. Encrypted viruses is a famous form of viruses that uses encryption. Like a portion of the virus creates a random encryption key and encrypt the remainder of the virus, and the key is stored within the virus. That is something very technical. When an infected program is invoked, the virus uses the stored random key to decrypt the virus. And when the virus replicated, as the key is random, so a different random key is selected. And then we have the stealth virus, which actually hide itself from the antivirus's software. It may use code mutation, compression, or maybe some other techniques to achieve this objective, to hide itself from the antivirus's software. And then we have the polymorphic virus and metamorphic viruses, and other types of viruses are there. The second category of malware that we going to study is known as computer worm. Like the virus, a worm is a self-replicating and self-spreading malware. However, it is a program that will spread its copies or it will spread the copies of itself through a computer network. So you can say that computer worms spread over computer networks. The primary difference between a worm and a computer virus is that a worm operates through networks, while a virus can spread through any medium. And obviously, the virus actually attach itself to a different program. So additionally, the worm spread copies of itself as a standalone program. They do not need other program to be as a carrier, to be used as a carrier in the case of the virus that we have. So the virus spread copies of itself as a program that attached or maybe embed itself into other computer programs. So there is a major difference between a worm and a computer virus. So worm and viruses, the capability is that they can self-replicate itself and they can distribute themselves. However, the virus will require an additional program for its spread, while the worm can spread independently. Or maybe you can say the virus can rely on human activities to spread. Like viruses, different types of worms are available in the computer history. The most famous one is like the Morse worm, and it is considered to be the earliest worm in the history as it was um discovered in 1988, and it was discovered by Robert Morris in 1988. So that is why it is called Morris worm. And it was designed to spread on Unix operating system, and it uses a number of different techniques for its propagation. Beside from worms, we have another category, and that is known as botnet. The word botnet is made from two words. The first one is boot and the second one is net. Boot is short form robot. It is actually the name that we sometimes give to a computer. Is not the robot that we actually use in our normal life, a concept related with the AI. It is a name that we give to a computer that is actually infected by a malicious software. And net comes from the network, a group of computers that are connected or linked together with one another for the purpose of sharing information and resources. So a botnet is actually a network of infected computers. Okay, it is a network of infected computers where the network is used by the malware to spread. So you can say it actually that it is a collection of compromised computers, and those infected computers are sometimes referred to as zombies, and they are infected with the malware, and that zombies will allow an attacker to control the whole network. So a boot is actually an automated malware program that scan the block of network addresses and infect vulnerable computers in that network. To set up a botnet attack, the attacker must install or trick a user into installing a malicious code to run on their computing devices. And there are several ways to accomplish this task. The most common approach is by sending a user compromised website links and then embedded boot malware, illegitimate looking software programs to be downloaded by the unsuspecting users. And another concept which is known as Trojan Horse is another type of malware program which we will study in a moment. It actually depends on Trojan Horse or maybe some other type of attacks like phishing attack that we are going to explore in a moment as well. So you can say that a botnet can be used to perform various types of attacks on the network. If the attacker take control on the whole network, then he or she would be able to flood the targeted network and the targeted devices with too much traffic. And also they would be able to steal data from different hosts infected with the bots. In the history, different types of attacks were performed by using the botnet. For example, there is a famous botnet which is known as Game Over Zeus. Some authors, some researchers believe that it is an example of a virus. However, you can put a game over Zeus under the category of botnet as well as under the category of virus, because it will create a network of peer-to-peer botnet. And other botnet attacks were also performed during the history. Why the attacker would use this type of attack or to control the network? Because they use to perform different types of attack, like distributed denial of service attack, or maybe we can use this type of attack to perform traffic sniffing, or sometime key logging purposes. For key logging purposes we can use botnet. Maybe sometime we are interested in spreading new malware to the whole network. So if we get control of the whole network by using botnet, we can spread new malware very easily. And also we can manipulate online polls and games by using botnet. A recent addition, not very recent, but still a recent addition to the category of malware is something which is known as ransomware. Ransomware is a form of malware that essentially holds a computer system captive until they receive some ransom, some amount, some payment from the victim. This is something very dangerous. The malware restricts user access to the computer, either by encrypting the file on the hard drive or locking down the whole system and displaying a message that are intended to force the user to pay the malware creator to remove the restrictions and regain access to their computer. For example, you are using a computer and your computer has been affected with the ransomware. Then there are two options, more than two, but the famous two options are that maybe the attacker would be able to lock the whole system. Maybe they would be able to change the password, or maybe they would be able to encrypt the files on your hard drive, and then they will leave a message. If you want to restore your files or decrypt your files, or if you want to gain access again to the system, then you have to pay this much money, and they will give you information as well. And that information is normally in the form of the payment of Bitcoin, for example. Pay this much Bitcoin and then you will be able to to use your system. Okay, so this is something very dangerous. They will lock your system, they will encrypt your files, and then they will ask for a ransom, for a payment. Ransom is like buying back your own data. So ransomware typically spread like a normal computer worm. Maybe you are downloading a file or through some other vulnerability in the network like backdoors, etc. And there are different types of ransomware available. One of the very famous one is known as Cryptolocker, and it is most widely known example of the ransomware, and it was first discovered in 2013. And there are other flavor of Cryptolocker as well. For example, CryptoWall is a variant of Cryptolocker, and it was first found in August 2014. Okay, beside from ransomware we have the Rootkit category of malware. Root on Linux or Unix operating system, the administrator account or the super user account is called root. So as the name indicate, a rootkit is a type of malicious software that is designed to remotely access or control a computer without being detected by the user or by the security programs. It is a set of programs that are installed on a system to maintain covert access to that system with administrative or root privileges, and also by hiding evidence of its presence to the greatest extent possible. So in this case, the intruder will install a rootkit on a computer after first obtaining the user level access. either by exploiting a known vulnerability or maybe by cracking a password. Once the rootkit has been installed, now it is possible for the malicious party behind the rootkit to remotely execute files, to access or maybe steal information, to modify your system configuration, to alter the softwares, and plenty of other things. And the best thing about the kit is that it will hide its presence. So therefore, its prevention or maybe its detection and removal can be very difficult. So sometimes rootkit detection relies on the manual methods like monitoring computer behavior. And the purpose for using rootkit is that actually they can be used to monitor the traffic, monitor your keystrokes, create even a backdoor in the system for the hackers use, or maybe alter your log files, or maybe from your system they would be able to attack other machines on the network, or maybe alter the existing system tools, and other plenty of things are possible with such type of malware. There are, like viruses, there are different categories of rootkit, but we will not go into the details, but just to mention their name. Some categories or some types of the rootkits are like some rootkits are memory based, some are user based, some are kernel based, some are persistent, some are virtual machine based, some uses external mode and things like that. Our next category is spyware. As the name indicates, spy. It is actually a type of malware that functions by spying on user activities without their knowledge. These spying capabilities can include, like, the spying malware is monitoring your activities, what you are doing, what you are searching, what you are listening to, with whom you are talking to, and things like that. Or maybe they are collecting your keystrokes. Maybe they are collecting your, or maybe they are keeping eyes on your account information, your logins, your financial data, your transactions, and things like that. Sometimes it comes along with a freeware or maybe with a shareware programs. But in some cases, they also come with commercial software. However, the spyware is not always a malicious software. Sometimes it has some legal uses as well. There are some perfectly legal uses of the spyware, and many companies have elected to monitor the phone calls, phone messages, employees' emails, or web traffic within the organization. Keep in mind that the computer network, the computers, the devices, the phone systems are the property of the company or the organization and not of the employee. So these technologies are supposedly only used for work purposes. Therefore, company monitoring might not constitute an invasion of privacy. While courts have upheld this monitoring of the employee as a company right, it is still critical to consult an attorney before initiating this level of employee monitoring, as well as considering the potential negative impact. So there are two things. One thing is the moral aspect, like you are monitoring the what your employees are doing, but on the other side, as you are the owner of the company, of an organization, so there is legal. And even there is another legal way of using the spywares. For example, parents can also use this type of software on their home's computer to monitor the activities of their children, for example, on the internet. And the goal is usually to protect their children from the dark side of the internet, from the predators and stuff like that. So there are legal uses of spyware software as well. And even nowadays, family members like husband, wife, they are actually using different types of spyware software on the devices of their partner. in order to keep eyes on the activities. Next category is adware. Ad is from advertisement and ware is from software. So advertising supported software. It is a type of malware that will automatically deliver advertisement. And common example of adware include like the pop-up ads on the website and advertisement that are displayed by the software. So this is not very much harmful. Oftentimes software and application offer free versions that come with a bundle of adware. Like you have downloaded a game, the game is free of cost, but in order to play the game you have to watch the advertisement, for example. So in this case, the adware generate revenue for its developer by automatically generating online advertisement in the user interface of the software or on the screen presented to the user during the installation process or during the playing of the game. So there is a simple malware and is not very much harmful. We also have the scareware, and as the name indicate, is something that inform you that you have like hundreds of infections which don't have. They are lying to you. It is a malware scheme technique that uses pop-up security alerts and other social engineering tricks to threaten you into paying for fake softwares. Hey, your computer is full of viruses. If you want to get rid of these viruses, download this software and you will be able to remove those viruses or those malware from your computer. And that is like a scam. So the idea here is to trick you into purchasing a bogus anti-malware software where it claimed to remove those threats. Our next category is something which is very much important, and that is known as Trojan Horse. The concept derived from Greek mythology. The Trojan horse, as you can see in the figure. The Trojan horse is actually the wooden horse used by the Greeks during the Trojan War to enter the city of Troy and win the war. Greeks actually tricked the Trojans by leaving a great big wooden horse outside the Trojan defensive wall. The Trojans start thinking the horse is a gift. They took it inside and give it pride, give it a place inside the, the home. But unknown to the Trojan, the wooden horse was filled with Greek soldiers. And in the night, the Greek soldier descended from the horse, opened the gates, and then the troops enter and they capture the city of the Troy. There is a movie with the name Troy. If you are interested to learn about the war, the Greek mythology, the city of the Troy and the Trojan horse, you must watch that movie. The name of the movie is Troy. Okay, so the same concept apply in our security world as well. The Trojan horse actually looks like a useful or apparently useful program or utility, but hidden inside it is a code. When the Trojan horse is invoked, executed, it performs some unwanted or some harmful function. Like from outside, it looks something useful, but from inner side, it has a malicious code inside it, just like the Trojan horse concept. So it is like a script that is attached to a good looking email, a good looking software tool, and when you run the program or open the attachment, it does something else other than or in addition to what you thought it would might be. So maybe you click on a link, maybe you download something legitimate software, some useful tool, and then you also download the harmful software. It can do several things. It can delete your files. It can install other software, other harmful software. It can download code from malicious websites. It can open a backdoor for a hacker to be used, and so on. So normally the Trojan horse technique is used in a combination with a virus or other malicious softwares. Beside from Trojan horse, we have backdoors as well, which are also known as trapdoor. And the concept is similar. It's like a small door in a wall, in a floor, or in a ceiling that is used to gain access to the part of a building or to a machine, etc. So it is a secret entry point into the program. And that secret entry point will allow someone that is aware of the trapdoor to gain access without going through the usual security access procedures. And initially, programmers have used Backdoor legitimately for many years to debug and test programs. And such backdoor were known as maintenance hook. So backdoor, which are like the secret entry points, are bits of code embedded in the programs by the programmer to quickly gain access at later time, often during the testing or debugging phases. However, if a programmer purposely leave this code in or simply forget to remove that backdoor, then a potential secret hole is introduced. Now, hackers often plant a backdoor on previously compromised system to gain access later. Trapdoor can be almost impossible to remove in a reliable manner. In recent time, a backdoor is usually implemented as a network service. And like in the world of networking, we have ports. So listening on some non-standard ports that the attacker can connect to and issue commands through to be run on the compromised system. So if you have some port opens on your system, then the attacker can use those port number to enter or to gain access into your system. So that is the basic idea of backdoor or sometime trapdoor. Next, we have a very interesting category, and that is logic bomb. A logic bomb is a type of malware that execute its malicious purpose when a specific criteria is met. It is a malware that is triggered by a response to an event, such as launching an application or when a specific date and time is reached. The logic bomb is a code that is actually embedded in the malware that is set to explode when certain conditions are met. And once triggered, the bomb may alter or delete data or entire files. It can cause machine to halt or do some other damage as well. Attacker normally they use a combination of different techniques in order to attack a system. For example, they can use spyware and logic bomb in order to steal your identity. For example, they may use logic bomb in combination with other technique to delete your files, and that happen on a specific date and time. And a very good example of logic bomb is the case of Michael. In June 1992, there was an employee with the name Michael, and he was working as a defense contractor general at General Dynamic. And he was arrested because he inserted a logic bomb into the company's system. And the logic bomb was designed to delete sensitive project data. And the employee hoped that the cause of the missing data would would not be noticed. It will remain unnoticed, and he could return as a consultant to fix the problem, and he will get some money from the company for fixing that problem. However, that was not the case. Another employee at the same company discovered the logic bomb before it was triggered. Like the date for the trigger was after his retirement, but the second employee was able to discover the logic bomb before it was triggered. And then an investigation was conducted, and he was charged with computer tampering and attempting a fraud. and he was allowed for some fine, and at that time he was not went to the jail, but some fine. Okay, so such type of logic bomb which actually trigger at a specific time is known as time bomb, which is like a category of logic bomb. So the type of logic bomb which execute when a specific time is reached is known as the time bomb. They are actually programmed to set off when important dates are reached, like Christmas date, like Valentine date, etc. They are actually hard to detect. Why? Because under normal operation, under normal situation, everything is fine. There is no security hole. However, when a predefined set of parameters was met, then the security hole would be created. Next, malware is known as phishing. The word is actually homophone of phishing. And phishing is the attempt to obtain sensitive information like your username, your password, your email address, your credit card number, your social security number, and things like that. So it is typically carried out by email or maybe by instant messaging. Someone will send you an email or a message with a request to enter your credential into a well-known website. So it often directs user to enter personal information to a fake website. But the good thing is that the fake website looks and feels almost identical to the legitimate one. For example, if an attacker has developed a website exactly a same copy of the Gmail account page, so the user will be thinking that he or she is actually entering the credential in the Gmail on the Gmail web page or on the Gmail server, but that is not the case because the website is a fake website, and the entered credential will not be sent to the Google server, but rather it will be sent to the attacker uh, computer. So if the user is careless and does not realize that they are not being the same things, then following the link and supplying the requested details, credential information will certainly result in the attacker exploiting their account and will use it for later use. So they can capture the credentials in very simple way. I remember there was a phishing website available commonly for Yahoo server, and many people use that to get a credential of their friends. Like, hey, you are sending, like you are requesting, you are sending a URL in an email or by using an instance message to your friend, and then he think it is the Yahoo account, it is the Yahoo page. They will enter their credential and then things goes wrong. Okay, next category is keylogger. The concept is very simple. Actually, this type of malware will record and will keep a record of every keystroke you made on your keyboard. Although it is simple, but it is very powerful threat, and it is active to steal people login credential like your username and password. Okay, so you are not aware of the fact, for example, and you have a hidden keylogger installed on your computer, and whatever you type on your keyboard is actually recorded and then sent to the attacker. So the attacker would not be interested in all the keys that you press on the keyboard, but he will be interested, for example, in getting your Gmail ID along with password. So he would be looking for the 8gmail.com, and then after that you enter your password. So he would be able to easily capture your login details by using the keyloggers installed on your computer. And then we have another category, and that is known as clickjacking, which is also sometimes known as user interface redress. It is a common attack that tricks a user into clicking a web page element which is invisible, or this you can say that is embedded below another form below another, web element below another, text box below another, submit button, and things like that. So they are actually invisible under another element. And this can cause user to unwittingly download malware, or maybe visit malicious websites, or maybe provide their credentials or sensitive information, or maybe transfer money, or maybe purchase products online. Actually, this type of attack involves attacking two entities: the host website and the visitor who is actually visiting that website. The host website is used as a platform to facilitate the clickjacking attack, and the visitor become a victim to the specific intention of the attack. Let me give you an example to clarify the concept of the clickjacking. There are different types of clickjacking attacks, like money transfer scam, webcam and microphone activation attack, like jacking attack, a cursor jacking attack, malware downloading attacks, and things like that. But I'm giving you an example of money transfer scams. In this type of clickjacking attack, an attacker tricks you into clicking a link on a malicious page that authorize the transfer of money from your bank account. First, the victim is presented with uh, with a website that could be loaded from a link in an email, for example. Such websites usually promote an offer like free gift, free holiday, discount, special deals, etc. Something attractive for the user. When the website loads and the victim clicks the button to the claim, like to click your claim, click on this button. So the user happily click on that button, like free gift, free discount, free delivery, things like that. They are actually clicking on a fraud transfer confirmation link on an invisible web application layer. So if the victim is logged into their bank at that time, their money will instantly be transferred to the attacker account. Okay, so this type of attack is like invisible from the eyes of the victim, like the Trojan horse. Something appears, but behind it we have something hidden, and the hidden thing is actually the dangerous thing. Last but not the least is the spam, unsolicited bulk email that we received very frequently. Spam emails, which are also sometimes known as junk email, is actually an email that is sent without the explicit willingness of the user. That is why they are called unsolicited messages. And they are normally sent in bulk. And most of them are commercial in nature. By the way, if they are commercial or if they are non-commercial, many are not only annoying, but they are also dangerous because they may contain links that lead to phishing websites or sites they are hosting malware, or include malware as file attachment in themselves. Spammers collect email addresses from different platforms, maybe from chat rooms, maybe from different websites, maybe for customer list, from news groups, etc. And sometimes these email addresses are even sold to other spammers so that they can use them for their purposes as well. Sometimes a spam email may direct a user to a fake website, and that fake website is controlled by the attacker. And then this control information is used by the attacker for performing other types of attack like phishing, etc. So spam emails sometimes they are not harmful, but other times they are very much harmful. Okay. And there are like all email provider, email servers, they actually provide the facility. There is a folder with the name spam, and those email which are dangerous are automatically directed to the spam. And then you can do certain actions, like for example automatically delete the spam emails after some time, or maybe you read them and then delete them without clicking on any link and things like that. So these were some malwares. Although they are not the only malwares available, the list is very huge, but we discussed the most common type of malwares in this lecture. I hope you have learned something from this lecture. If you like the lecture, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching the video. Take care and goodbye.